I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of Consumer Cellular single-line 5GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 2416. Joint Bank Account Pros and Cons in Marriage by Andy Hill of MarriageKidsAndMoney.com. And I'm your host and personal finance enthusiast, Diana Merriam. And now let's get to today's post as we optimize your life. Joint Bank Account Pros and Cons in Marriage by Andy Hill of MarriageKidsAndMoney.com. What is a joint bank account? Joint bank accounts are accounts that are shared between two individuals. Typically, these joint accounts will be savings accounts or checking accounts. That way, both people can use the account to cover expenses, pay bills, or save for certain financial goals. A joint checking account works the same way as an individual checking account. You can write checks and make purchases with a debit card. Both people on the account should be able to access the funds with checks, a debit card, and by making bank deposits or withdrawals. Additionally, you can set up direct deposit for both people's paychecks if you choose. A joint savings account works just like an individual savings account. This account is appropriate for setting money aside for short-term and medium-term goals. These accounts are FDIC insured, which means they keep your money safe. They also often offer interest. Get yourself a high-yield online account if you don't have one. Both account holders can make deposits and withdrawals from the account. For our purposes, we'll review joint account pros and cons for couples, but it's worth noting that joint bank accounts can also be created for aging parents and their adult children or business partners. In fact, joint accounts can be created for any two adults. However, it's crucial to ensure that the person you open a joint account with is someone you trust. According to the joint bank account rules, both account holders have total access to the account and all the funds in it. Joint bank account pros and cons. Before you and your partner rush to open a joint bank account, it's worth exploring the joint bank account pros and cons. Then you'll want to consider your financial goals and the unique needs of your relationship. Benefits to joint bank accounts. There are so many benefits to joint bank accounts. From simplifying your finances to offering motivation to meet your financial goals faster, many couples feel that joint bank accounts are right for them. Number 1, transparency. Financial transparency can be difficult to achieve and maintain if you and your partner only have separate accounts. Of course, there are other ways to share your financial progress with each other, but there's no denying that joint accounts make financial transparency incredibly easy to achieve. Since both partners have access to joint accounts at all times, there's no guessing at account balances or spending or saving. Number 2, simplicity. By working from a shared account, you and your partner are on the same page, literally. When you have money meetings, budget reviews, or budget parties, the progress is often streamlined. While it's certainly not impossible to have money dates if you and your partner only have separate accounts, it's just going to add a few more steps to each budgeting review session. Number 3, goal setting. In addition to streamlining the money date process, joint accounts make it easier to set goals and monitor your progress towards them. You can quickly spot overspending, allowing you to both course correct mid-month instead of waiting for a surprise at your budget review. When you have a month where you both kick your savings into overdrive, you can celebrate sooner. Number 4, cost savings. Combined finances result in higher account balances. This makes it easier to meet minimum balance requirements and other thresholds or activity requirements. Doing so can give you access to premium accounts and help you dodge maintenance and activity fees. Number 5, easy to use tools. One old criticism of joint accounts was that it can be difficult to combine your money. Thankfully, there's an app for that. In fact, there are many different fintech options like Zeta that will help you and your partner merge your money in a stress-free way. And number 6, meet your goals sooner. Many couples say that their favorite part about joint accounts is the motivation that they offer. Your balance is higher than it is with separate accounts. Whether you're chasing your first comma or looking to join the double comma club, a joint account can certainly ramp up the motivation. Drawbacks to joint accounts. There are many perks to joint bank accounts, but maybe you've heard someone argue that joint bank accounts are bad. We think that joint bank accounts can add a lot of value to a partnership, but it's worth knowing the drawbacks. Number 1, joint responsibility. Joint accounts come with joint access and joint responsibility. If one person in your relationship is the saver and the other is the spender, it's important to remember that joint accounts grant equal access. Either individual can access the money at any time. If an account goes into overdraft, both people are responsible for the fees. Joint accounts can also be seized by the government. If this is a second marriage for either partner and one of you owes spousal support or child support, a joint account can be tapped to cover those expenses. Number 2, lack of privacy. We would never advise you to hide anything significant from your partner. In fact, we believe financial transparency is one of the keys to making your relationship work. However, it's worth noting that it's much harder to hide birthday gifts and Valentine's Day presents if you and your partner only use joint bank accounts. Number 3, life stages. Another consideration to make when weighing the pros and cons of joint bank accounts is where you and your partner are in life. A couple who's starting out with a small net worth may have a much simpler time combining most or all of their finances. However, if you and your partner set up multiple financial accounts and build a more significant net worth before you met, it might also make sense to keep some of those accounts separate. Number 4, unexpected complications. Even with a prenup, it's never fun to try to separate assets in the event of a breakup. But if you and your partner open a joint account before you're married, it can be complicated to separate out your money if the relationship ends before you tie the knot. Number 5, financial abuse. While we certainly hope all the couples in our Marriage, Kids, and Money community are in healthy relationships, it's important that none of us turn a blind eye to the realities of financial abuse. When people combine every penny, it can make leaving an abusive situation virtually impossible. And number 6, retirement account rules. Not every account should or even can be a joint account. For instance, an IRA or Roth IRA is an individual retirement account. While you can certainly identify a beneficiary, you cannot create a joint account. This is also true for workplace retirement accounts. So while managing joint checking and savings accounts can certainly make things easier in your relationship, you're ultimately also likely to have to manage some separate accounts. What do money pros say about joint bank accounts? We've asked many different money and relationship experts their thoughts on combining finances. Some money experts, like Rachel Cruz, view joint accounts really favorably. In fact, Cruz says that a joint bank account signifies unity in a marriage. Other relationship experts don't take a firm stance. Instead, they try to address the source of money conflict in the first place. Virginia-based psychiatrist Dr. Laura Dabney works with couples to help them navigate difficult money conversations. She argues that joint accounts can be very helpful, especially in terms of transparency. But the bigger issue is teaching couples how to talk about money on both intellectual and emotional levels. Adam Cole, a couples financial counselor, also believes that it's essential for couples to proactively address money issues. In fact, he believes that couples can stop money fights before they start. While he doesn't necessarily prefer joint bank accounts, he says that it's key for couples to be realistic, set a budget together, and work towards their financial goals as a team. Joint bank accounts can certainly help facilitate some of this work. You just listened to the post titled Joint Bank Account Pros and Cons in Marriage by Andy Hill of marriagekidsandmoney.com.
I'm so sorry, ma'am. I know you need this medicine, but it looks like it's not covered by your insurance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to deny that one.
Wait, who are you?
I'm your insurance company's pharmacy benefit manager. I get paid based on the price of a medicine, and I don't make as much money off this one.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
I don't think there's any one right way to organize a couple's finances. It all boils down to what makes each person in the relationship comfortable. My Midwestern gentleman and I have a collection of both joint and individual accounts across checking, savings, and investment accounts. Because we met in our 30s, we came into the relationship with a number of previously established accounts. The question of joint or separate accounts isn't as much of an issue than simply the organization and tracking of everything. There are a lot of accounts to monitor. We used to address this with a free service called Mint, but we recently switched to another service called Monarch Money, which I feel combines the expense tracking capabilities of Mint with the net worth tracking capabilities of Personal Capital. Now we're able to look at all of our money and all the different accounts collectively, and it has really helped us simplify things. The other reason why I like it better than Mint is that we each have our own login, and so this helps with transparency. And that will do it for today. Have a great day and start to your weekend. Thank you for listening, and I'll be back here reading for you tomorrow, where your optimal life awaits.